Hey everyone, what's going on? As of right now, almost midnight on February 2nd, this is what the CNN main articles look like. The headline articles on CNN. We got this story about why blackface is offensive, and we also have a story over here about rapper Bow Wow being charged with battery. And if you're new to what I talk about on this channel, there's a reason that we get some of these main stories on the same days. It's because they're all connected with this ancient knowledge system. There's old world knowledge things such as Hermeticism, astrology, there's also Kabbalah, and within Kabbalah is the practice of coding numbers into words and phrases. There's a belief that God created the world by merging the letter with the number. And you can check out tons of other videos. I don't want to re-explain it over and over like I do in many of my other videos. But what was really interesting, and possibly if you're new to this, you really do have to check out some of my other videos. But what I thought was interesting was that they're talking about this as being a minstrel show. And if you go back to some of my videos that I put out, I put a video out, it's right here. It doesn't have Don Lemon in the title, but in this video, I talk about how there's this king symbolism going on. And Kanye West just went to the White House, and it's all synced up to Queen Elizabeth and her possibly dying, and us getting King Charles III. And this video, there was just more king and royal symbolism going on. And just after Kanye West went to the White House, that's when they announced that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were going to be having a baby. And it just so happened to be on the same day that Elizabeth Warren showed that her DNA was actually, so much percent of Native American. And the reason that was interesting, it came on the same day as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, is because a long time ago when Trump called Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, that was the same day we found out that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle got engaged, because they put these two stories together for a reason. And anyway, in this video here, I talked about how Don Lemon called Kanye West's visit to the White House a minstrel show. And when you think about minstrel, you think about the royal family, the comedian coming in for the king and whatnot. And, a minstrel show is also, what they're talking about here. We'll just type it out here. Minstrel show. It's all the blackface stuff. But just think about a minstrel in regards to the king symbolism stuff. So anyway, that was the first thing I thought of when I seen this. And I clicked on the article, and the first thing that came up was this, a thing of Don Lemon. When I clicked on the article, it took me to a video of Don Lemon. And if you followed what I talk about, I'm telling you, we live in this system. If you pay enough attention to the way these things play out in your own life, you can see the pattern. There's something in this world that is helping you understand this pattern if you pay enough attention to the things that are going on in your own life. And what are the odds that I'm thinking about Don Lemon, and then I click on this video, and it just so happens to be a clip of Don Lemon talking about it. And the reason that's important is because I was trying to find my videos, and I couldn't find that one with Don Lemon in it because it didn't have Don Lemon in the title. And I just went to my videos, and you can search, right? And I typed in Don Lemon. And the only video that comes up when you type in Don Lemon has absolutely nothing to do with Don Lemon. I didn't talk about Don Lemon in this video at any point. I didn't write about Don Lemon, so why did this video come up when I typed in Don Lemon? A video about Bow Wow, the rapper, retiring. And then Bow Wow's on the mainstream media headline next to this blackface thing that's synced up to Don Lemon. And look what this video is about. Look what's in this title of this video. King Charles. Also interesting, I talked about Michael Jordan and the movie Like Mike that Bow Wow was in. He was in the movie called Like Mike. And I talked about a bunch of stuff in this video. I'll explain a little bit in a second. But just pointing out, I talked about King Charles. I also talked about the film Like Mike. And if you remember earlier this year, we got a story that Don Lemon interviewed LeBron James. Let me find it here. Don Lemon interviewed LeBron James, and then Donald Trump just so happened to write how Don Lemon made LeBron look smart, which isn't easy to do. And he wrote, I like Mike, right? I like Mike, and he's referring to Michael Jordan. And, once again, just think about that. Think about that with Bow Wow here. This video, I talked about how it's connected to Michael Jordan, like Mike. And another story we got this year with Donald Trump and Don Lemon was how he likes Mike. Also interesting, this tweet was on August 3rd, which is Tom Brady's birthday, and this story comes the day before the Super Bowl. Think about Michael Jordan and Tom Brady both being referred to as the GOAT, right? And Michael Jordan's really important to a lot of the stuff with Donald Trump on the wall. Michael Jordan's birthday is February 17th, which is the 48th day of the year. And remember, everything about Donald Trump and the wall, it all has to do with the number 48, and it's synced up to LeBron James. LeBron is King James, who was King Charles's father, and King Charles was the king during the English Civil War, and a Cavalier was a follower of King Charles during the English Civil War. And LeBron James won the NBA Finals on the real King James's birthday, and then just after that, Donald Trump gave his national convention in Cleveland, where the Cavaliers play. Then they visited the White House on November 10th. They both visited the White House on the exact same day. Then the same day that Donald Trump called out the NFL for kneeling during the national anthem, that was the same day LeBron James called Donald Trump a bum, right? He called him you bum, that equals 51. Cleveland equals 51. Quicken Loans equal 51. LeBron James equals 51. They won their first sports championship for Cleveland in 51 years. It was actually 51 years, 5 months, and 23 days, and Donald Trump equals 523 in satanic gematria. But there's all of these things that sync up. Michael Jordan's birthday being the 48th day of the year, the word wall equals 48. Donald Trump equals 48. He won the biggest election upset since the year 48. Then we got that closest supermoon on Prince Charles's birthday, and it was the closest supermoon since the year 48. And the Indians lost in the World Series just before Trump won. Cleveland also equals 48, and they haven't won a World Series since the year 1948. And Mike Pence became the 48th vice president, and the Mexican-American War came to an end in the year 48. So, lots and lots of narratives that are going on. And Don Lemon's name in Jewish gematria equals 239, which was important to all of the kneeling during the national anthem stuff. Atlanta Falcons, where the Super Bowl's held this year, they equal 239. And the flag was supposedly sewn at 239 Arch Street in Philadelphia. That's why we had the Eagles win the Super Bowl last year, Super Bowl 52, the 52nd prime number. It's 239. Donald Trump called out the NFL on the date of 23/9. That's the same day LeBron James called him a bum and whatnot, So lots and lots of stuff that syncs up to all this. Also, what's interesting in regards to the king symbolism is this guy who supposedly did the blackface thing. His name is Ralph Northam. And if you followed me for a long time, I have a ton of videos talking about Ralph and the Ralph symbolism being synced up to the king symbolism. And it stems back to the Big Lebowski, where, an inside joke is that they always go to Ralph's, and he even signs the check on 9/11, right? And that's interesting because tomorrow we have the Rams versus the Patriots, and the last time they played each other in the Super Bowl was just after 9/11, when Tom Brady came out of nowhere, that they had the Patriot Act, and the Patriots won the Super Bowl. And the Yankees upset the highly favored Seattle Mariners, all by the numbers after 9/11 happened to go on to the World Series. So just interesting, this guy's name's Ralph. And he says that this picture isn't him. This isn't him, but he does admit that he painted his face black for a Michael Jackson costume when he was in college. And once again, think about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is the king of pop, right? Michael Jackson, the king of pop. When Prince died, I talked a lot about Michael Jackson and how his full name equals 197, just like the word Prince. And think about Prince Charles. We had the death of Prince the singer on the same day that Queen Elizabeth's birthday was. And once again, think about it. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. If you've been following what I've recently been talking about, it was connected to that Wolf Moon and how Teen Wolf is important, and how Teen Wolf was important to the NBA All-Star Week in 2015. But it also was synced up to Michael Jordan because the Teen Wolf Zach LaVine did the Space Jam dunk wearing the Michael Jordan Space Jam jersey, right? And it was 122 days before the Warriors won the NBA Finals, and in Gematria, Golden State equals 122. And then the next year, or whatever, in the NBA draft, they even drafted the guy named Kevin Looney, right? Looney Tunes, think about it. But anyway, just think about Michael J. Fox, MJ, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, MJ, right? 23. The Super Bowl tomorrow is on 2-3, which is also interesting. And in this movie, Like Mike, the guy who owns like the adoption place that takes care of him, but he's kind of a snake and whatnot, the guy is played by Crispin Glover, who's George McFly, in the film Like Mike. And, think about Michael J. Fox and Back to the Future. So I also thought it was interesting, and I'm just trying to piece this puzzle together because that's why I'm making this video, because I know there's a reason that I'm supposed to see it, and I really feel like it's because this year the NBA All-Star game just so happens, or the All-Star week just so happens to begin on Michael Jordan's birthday. And what I talked about in my little Bow Wow video was that the NBA All-Star Week that year got moved out of Charlotte, where Michael Jordan owns. It got moved out of there because of the bathroom law in North Carolina, and it got moved to New Orleans, and then Anthony Davis, New Orleans, and they play in Smoothie King Center even, right? Smoothie King, and then Anthony Davis was the MVP of the All-Star game, and think about Anthony Davis being really big in the mainstream media right now, who possibly might go play with King James. But anyway, notice Little Bow Wow equals 109, and so does Michael Jeffrey Jordan, and so does Michael Joseph Jackson. And in light of the Super Bowl being tomorrow, Los Angeles also equals 109. And a big thing that I talked about in this Bow Wow video here was that they said he was retiring at age of 29 for like no reason. He hadn't made an album since he was 22 years old, and all of a sudden when he was 29 years old, he came out and said that he was retiring. And the reason that's significant is because in Gematria, Bow Wow equals 29, and he was retiring at the age of 29. And in that film, he gets adopted that equals 29, and they give him the nickname Sea Dog that equals 29. And the 29th prime number is 109, right? So, Lil Bow Wow, 109, synced up to 29. His real name is Shad Moss that equals 118, just like Tom Brady, just like Patriots. And once again, think about, Michael Jordan and Tom Brady both being the GOATs. He got arrested Lil Bow Wow got arrested in Atlanta too. I'll pull that up really quick. I know I just typed about it again. He got arrested in Atlanta where the Super Bowl's being played. And the reason that sticks out is because I went and looked at the Atlanta Hawks game tonight, and they won 118 to 112, which is interesting. Because like I said, Tom Brady equals 118. Patriots equal 118. Super Bowl equals 112, right? So just an interesting score the day before the Super Bowl. Atlanta Hawks also equal 131, and Super Bowl, the frontwards way, equals 131. But, there's other things in the story. Just another example of gematria here. They said that he was arrested with battery, and battery equals 44. Lil Bow Wow equals 44. His full name, Shad Gregory Moss, equals 193, which is the 44th prime number. And there's also another cipher called septenary, where African American equals 44. Although I don't really talk about it too much, just want to point it out that African American equals 44. This story came 2 years, 5 months, 25 days, a lot like 25, after the story of him retiring. And Bow Wow also equals 25. So, absolutely coded. The reason I talked about this previously, and let me find this video here, and I'll leave a link in the description, but I just want to show you what video it is, so you know what to look for. Well, maybe I don't even, I think it was this video right here. 2019 SummerSlam, August 11th, Philadelphia. Hulk Hogan, earthquake, and how it synced up to Michael Jordan, and Jordan used to be the capital of the country. Philadelphia used to be the capital of the country, Jordan, until the year 106 AD, and then it was later destroyed by earthquakes. And Hulk Hogan defeated Earthquake in Philadelphia at the Spectrum Center, or the Spectrum. And Michael Jordan owns the Charlotte Hornets, who play in the Spectrum Center. And this year, the NBA All-Star Week is going to begin on Michael Jordan's birthday. A major thing that we have been talking about was about the date of August 11th and how it syncs up to, the Donald Trump visiting the Western Wall and, the the third temple being rebuilt, right? And that's also Hulk Hogan's birthday. It's also the mayor of San Francisco's birthday, August 11th. And I talked about in the movie Happy Gilmore how he learns how to putt on the Earthquake golf course, and the building that falls over looks like the Comcast Center in Philadelphia that has the black cube on the top. And the black cube is supposedly supposed to represent the New Jerusalem, which is what the third temple would be built around and whatever. And the reason that's so funny to me is because I put this video out about Lil Bow Wow on August 11th of 2016. So I'm pretty sure there's something very significant about that. How it's synced up to what I was talking about with earthquakes, Philadelphia, also San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Golden Gates where the Messiah is supposed to return through. Golden Gate equals 239, which is why Colin Kaepernick knelt in San Francisco, and the flag stuff is synced up to 239 Arch Street, where the flag was supposedly sewn. That's why Pope Francis's visit to the White House came to an end in Philadelphia. Or, you know what I mean, his visit to America was important, and he went to the White House on 23/9, or 9/23 on his 900 and, what was it? He came to America on his 923rd day as Pope, and LeBron James equals 923. And he was in that movie Trainwreck that opens up with Amy Schumer's character is 9 years old, and the rest of the movie takes place 23 years later. But anyway, this story coming out on 2/2 is interesting because the word basketball equals 22. Lil Bow Wow's last album that he released came out 22 days after his 22nd birthday. So I know that's why it's important. 2/2. It's because the word basketball is 22. He even remade that song by Curtis Blow, Basketball. Right? Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. Whatever, right? And Curtis Blow, his name equals 42, just like the super N-word. And he's 59 years old, just like slave, Negro, cotton picker, the list goes on. Michael Jordan, 59. And Ndamukong Suh equals 59. Rodney King equals, what does Rodney King equal? can't even remember. Rodney King equals 42. No, Rodney King equals 59. And his birthday, supposedly April 2nd, 4/2. That's why Rosa Parks was on the bus, right? When at the age of 42, she wouldn't get off the bus. That's why the word bus equals 42. That's why February equals 42, Black History Month. Has the 42nd day in it. All throughout history, it's been coded this way. So we have all that stuff coming up on Michael Jordan's birthday this year, but in 2016, it got moved because of the bathroom bill, like I said. And the story of Bow Wow came out 2 months, 17 days before the NBA season began that year. And, that All-Star Week got moved from Charlotte, and it began on Michael Jordan's birthday, 2/17, and it was in the year 2017, a lot like 217. So we'll definitely look out for Michael Jordan's birthday this year. It's a really important day. It syncs up to Wall. It syncs up to the king symbolism. Prince Charles even born in the year 48, like I said. But Charles II equals 48 in Gematria, and King Charles I died at the age of 48. So it's really important. That day is definitely a day to. I wonder what type of stories we're going to get on Michael Jordan's birthday, February 17th. In 2015, a major thing with all that Teen Wolf stuff, Michael J. Fox, and the NBA All-Star Week, it was important to the number 52. Michael Jordan was 52 years old, and, he owns the Charlotte Hornets, and then we got the birth of Princess Charlotte on 5/2, the same day as the Mayweather fight that Tom Brady went to and whatnot. And Queen Elizabeth was 25 years old when she became the queen in the year 52. That's why the book Charlotte's Web came out in the year 1952. And if you've ever seen the movie National Treasure, the big secret is the secret lies with Charlotte. And that secret came from Charles Carroll III, who was I think he was the last guy to sign the Declaration of Independence. He was the last one to die who signed the Declaration of Independence that had 56 signers, and he died 56 years after signing the Declaration of Independence, and John Hancock died at the age of 56, and, just whatever. But I just want to point something out with this guy. Notice the day that he died, November 14th, and he was also called Charles Carroll III. And I'm talking about how if Queen Elizabeth dies, Prince Charles will become King Charles III. And this guy died on what would have been Prince Charles's birthday, November 14th. He actually died 116 years before Prince Charles was born on November 14th. So just interesting, Charles III, and I'm talking about how Prince Charles might become Charles III, and this guy dies 116 years to the day before Prince Charles was born. Also, the date of August 11th is interesting because that's the same day this year that we're getting the 1989 Giants, and they're playing the Philadelphia Phillies, I believe, that day. And the 1989 Giants, that game is dedicated to the 1989 Giants. And the 1989 Giants were in the World Series that had the earthquake, right? The Earthquake World Series. And just throwing this out there, recently I've documented a lot about the number 63. And Michael Jordan was born in the year 63. His birthday is 63 days before Queen Elizabeth's birthday. And a long time ago, I made a video about the movie Field of Dreams and how he takes Terrence Mann to the Oakland Athletics game, and then it flashes the New York Giants up on the deal. And they were showing us a same city World Series within that. And that movie came out, and so it was the Athletics and the Giants in the World Series. And that movie came out on Queen Elizabeth's birthday, her 63rd birthday. And then, later that year we had the Athletics and the Giants in the World Series together, and Field of Dreams equals 63. So does Prince Harry. And everything about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle was all about 63. So there's something going on with that number and the royal family. The number 63. The reason, too, that it's important is because we got the story of Ralph Northam, right? And his name in Gematria, Ralph Northam, it equals 63 in reverse and also 63 the frontwards way. And racism equals 63. No, I talked about it in my Emmett Till video where they brought up the case after 63 years and his name sounds a lot like money, you know. And think about Donald Trump and Wall Street, building the wall. Money equals 63. Money is the root of all evil. That equals 63. Wall Street equals 63. And the stock market crash happened on the day that leaves 63 days in the year. Anyway, you know, you're probably not going to understand this video if you haven't followed what I've been talking about, but that's all right. I just wanted to get some of this information out here. I got some other videos that I want to make, so there's definitely some interesting ones. This number 34 and how it's connected to the Super Bowl is also interesting. And yeah, there's definitely some other stuff, so I don't even know here. I'm baffled too. I'm wondering, it doesn't make sense. I have been censored for so long, and then now all of a sudden I have this video that got 17,000 views on it, which is just seems really odd to me. I've made a video about the Super Bowl every year for how many years now, and all of a sudden this one has got all kinds of views and whatever else. It just seems odd to me. I want to know like what the purpose of letting this video get so big is. Especially when half of the comments in here are just people talking shit to me and whatnot, so I don't know. It just seems there's something I'm missing with that. I know there's a bigger purpose for whatever the reason. I'm gonna quit rambling here, but in the next video I make about the number 34, I went back and looked at some of my old information, and I figured out the reason why the War of 1812 was connected to, you know, the Moses thing clear back when. I figured that out back in August. I just forgot about it, you know? So it's all interrelated. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.